is the new 2025 Cadillac CT5, the sports sedan to go to. Well, this year, we got a refresh on the exterior for the front, the wheels, the lights. Interior, we have 5G capabilities, a 33-inch curved panel that has 3 different screens integrated, and the CT5 has 2 different power options unless you option the V or the V Blackwing. I'm Anthony from Hawkeye Rides, and I'm gonna go over some pros and cons. The problem that I have with the refresh and compare it against the competition. Up front, we have the Platinum package. This is gonna unlock a lot of stuff. So not only do you have premium LED headlights and daytime runnings, but it also adds the adaptive forward lighting as well as leveling lights, cornering lights. Because it's a sport trim, you get the glossy black grille that integrates into those vertical daytime runnings. And when you look at any of the competition, Cadillac stands out of class because of their lighting. There's only a few companies that do that, and I think Cadillac does an excellent job. 4 inches of clearance, the glossy black comes into the center yet again with the grille pattern. Front and rear parking sensors with a 360-degree reverse camera. Now, when you add that Platinum package, it also gives you the technology package. The safety, you have the driver attention assist, traffic sign recognition, blind zone steering assist with enhanced automatic parking assist, intersection automatic emergency braking with rear cross traffic braking. And for cyclists, the front and the side is taken care of. For pedestrians, the front and the rear. So not only safety, but performance, we have a 2-liter twin-scroll turbocharged 4-cylinder with 237 horsepower and 258 pound-feet of torque paired to a 10-speed automatic transmission, achieving 23 mpgs for the city, 32 mpgs for the highway. So it's not only a sporty car, but you're also getting great mpgs out of that twin-scroll turbocharge. Sport trim gets these 19-inch wheels. Gloss black for the side skirt, as well as a touch of it on the side view mirror and around all the window trim. The Platinum package gives us the illuminated lights for the door handles. You get the Cadillac badging standard, as well as the side here. So they're giving you a few amenities on the house. 0 to 60, around 6.6 seconds. Now, when you're going against competition, Infiniti doesn't make a vehicle comparable to it because the Q50, they're discontinuing. Going against Acura, this will have less horsepower in torque. It's not gonna be as wide or as long either. This is gonna be a little bit more sporty on the exterior and giving you a little bit more luxury amenities on the interior. But let me know your thoughts about that. As for the Germans, BMW, Mercedes, and Audi, all of which will have more performance, but you're gonna be spending about 10 to 15 grand to get what you're getting comparable to this. So when you're thinking speed, most of the time we're not even going on the track. So why do we even put that in the equation when you're looking at a luxury / sports sedan? Because if I'm wanting to get more performance, personally, I would go to an M4 competition. And then I'm getting nearly the same 0 to 60 as an M8 competition. But when I'm thinking of a sedan, this is gonna get you to point A to point B with luxury and style. LED taillights, that's been reworked. The lower gets dual exhaust finishers, reverse sensors, and that Platinum package adds a digital rear view mirror, which the camera is on the shark fin antenna. So they clean it up. The only problem I would say with this redesign is that it is going to be the slowest variant when you're ticking the box to the 2-liter twin-scroll turbo 4-cylinder engine. But they offer a 3.0, which unlocks a lot more power. They give a V. They got a V Blackwing, in which it gives the Germans a run for the money, and it outperforms everybody that's in its class. Quick release, going into 11.9 cubic feet of storage. We have a little storage bin here. Underneath the floor, you get some more storage, but unfortunately, to split fold the rear bench in the back at that 60-40 split, you have to come back here in order to do so. Pull these tabs and it will fold down to maximize the cargo capacity to the CT5. We need to go inside, start it up so you can hear that 2.0 exhaust note. The key fob to the new CT5. The Platinum package adds the ambient lighting out here, as well as that pano moonroof and the Sedona interior. You have 14-way power seat adjustment, heated, ventilated, massage seats, manual cushion extension. It's perforated, memory for the driver, 15 speakers through AKG, and check out the refresh. 33-inch mixed with touchscreen and a digital gauge reader. We have Super Cruise. Let's fire it up. digital rear view mirror, heads-up display, and I like how they have configured this screen layout because it's not necessarily out of the dash the way they have it implemented, as well as getting the Cadillac badging on the back of it. Super cool. You have the carbon fiber inlays because we're in the sport trim with the orange stitch dual climate control settings, and this is Google based. So you have Google Maps, Android Auto, Sirius XM, AM, FM, streaming Bluetooth audio, Sirius XM, and it is driver focus, which goes into the digital gauge reader that can be configurable with the touchpad here on the side. So you can have it for the maps, the gauge, or you can just have a clean setup, as well as altering the heads-up display to make it where it adjusts for somebody taller like me. Leather wrap steering wheel, multi-function, paddle shifts. I'm not a big fan of how big this is, but it is a larger vehicle. Wireless charging pad and driver mode select right here, which you have a few driving modes, and it'll show you a little video for snow and ice, my mode, tour, sport mode, which is what we'll be driving in for the most part. In my modes, you can configure to make it tour or sport on the engine sound, the brake feel, and the steering. With the carbon fiber inlays coming into play, you have the rotary knob that can configure anything for that infotainment screen, and this is going to be soft to touch with an area that you can run another cell phone, in which you can plug it up to the 12-volt or USB ports, and it keeps all the wires hidden. So I like how they've done that. Even though it's driver focused, you still have a ton of leg space because of the sport trim. You're going to get these sport pedals. Headroom, more than enough. Door panel gets the carbon fiber, and it's going to be a little bit more sporty, but that's to be expected. One touch up and down for all the windows with a smaller storage pocket. For the back seats, this is the opening that you have to fit two more with the cup holders and armrest down. The door is going to have the same segment in the front with the carbon fiber, ambient lighting. It's going to be a little bit more sporty and about the same size storage pocket. Air vents, USB port, 12-volt storage behind both of the front seats. Check out the leg space. I can fit. Headroom starts to be altered a little bit because you do sit up a little bit more so, and the same thing with your knees. If you're tall, they're going to be up in the air. The center is not flat at all. You're going to be sharing some feet space, butt, leg, and shoulder space. It's going to be a little bit more cramped, and you'll have to scoot down, which will make knee space a little bit tight even if I'm driving, but then headroom, I can actually fit if I needed to for a quick drive. And Cadillac gives you more luxury because you have two moonroofs instead of just a long pano. The new CT5 2-liter twin-scroll turbocharged inline 4-cylinder. That's 237 horsepower with 258 pound-feet of torque, 4 inches of clearance paired to a 10-speed automatic transmission, getting great MPGs, have you? And now we're going to give her a go. And that's what I was saying on the exterior. I mean, you have a sufficient amount of speed whenever you're looking for a luxury slash sports sedan. It's going to take me to some pros and cons. Starting off with the pros is it captures all the luxury you need. There's not a lot of vehicles, especially in this price, there isn't any that has massage seats for the front occupants. Heated, ventilated seats, I'm always a big fan of that, as well as getting standard amenities like a wireless charging pad, this huge 33-inch screen. Two sides of it is touch derived, which no other automotive industry does. But then on a con, they don't add any aluminum for the speaker mesh. Once you start getting around 60 grand, I like to see that come into play. It's great that we're getting the carbon fiber, but we're also in the sport trim. The twin scroll turbocharged engine, it needs to spool up to about 2.5 to 3 RPMs. But for the most part, you're not going to hear it unless you're hitting over 3 RPM. So the sound deadening is good with 19-inch wheels. You don't feel too many of the imperfection. Manual cushion extensions, I'm a huge fan of that because now my knees are not setting up in the air for a long drive. And even though it's driver focused, I think they do a good job of keeping that sport style in the interior. But on the con to driver focus, if you've ever had to use the infotainment screen on the passenger side, it's not impossible, it's just a headache. because it's literally like 2 inches too much inwards on the opposite side. I do like how the climate control is laid out, so it's not necessarily driver focused, it's actually focused on both passenger and driver. But then they still somewhat have a wall similar to a Corvette. It's not as pronounced, but it does make it a little bit harder to utilize the wireless charging pad on the passenger side. I do like that they still keep that little cubby for a cell phone so you can run wires there and you're not having wires everywhere, but I kind of would like to see somewhat of a pass-through or a little bit more storage in the center, because the center box itself didn't increase in space, nor did the door panels. So for the everyday use, it's usable, and going into the CT5 opposed to the CT4, the back doors actually get storage. But it would be nice if they had a little bit more, because this is the largest sedan that they offer. The big question that usually comes into play when I do the 2-liter 4-cylinder turbocharged is, does it have enough power? It's sufficient for what it's worth. And if you're looking to save a little bit, I mean, it's a huge difference in price. You're talking around a $7,000 upgrade when you change different trims as well as changing the power option. Now, going against competition, the Germans, this is not going to be really compared to that so much. You'd have to go up into the next level, getting the 3-liter or going into the V or V Blackwing, and then it unlocks a tremendous savings, and it's the sweet spot amongst sports luxury sedans. But let me know your thoughts on that. As for what we have, this is more derived towards Lexus and Acura, and it's still going to have less performance numbers than Acura, but the drive here is more soft, as well as the seats. Even though they're somewhat sporty, you can configure them so it is a lot more luxurious. Whereas when you get into Acura, it feels a little bit more firm. The back seat of this is a big con to me because it sits up higher and your legs are just, or your knees are just sitting up in the air. The Super Cruise Control, I like it. I just don't like how you have to pay a premium after 3 years, and it's a subscription that you have to use. On top of that, it doesn't work on every single road. It would be nice if they integrated a system similar, I hate to say like Tesla, but maybe see if they can buy his software so that way you can utilize this autopilot system. Turn radius at more or less a stop point, about 2 lanes. Let's rock and roll. And another con is when you're using this infotainment screen while driving. Say for instance, you want to change your driving modes, it will not allow you to do so. It will literally tell you driver mode controller, use that while you're driving. You can still change the gauges. And then some other cons, you have to option the ultra view sunroof as well as the ventilated seats for the front, which I'm fine with that. But if you don't option that, you will not get the manual cushion extensions, which for me transforms the whole drive with that massage seat. As for competition, it's hard to really complain. You get a lot of value when you go Cadillac, but let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. Check out the next video, merchandise, website, and Instagram. Leave a comment and a like. And I'd like to thank Cadillac Lakeland for giving us this 2025 Cadillac CT5 for our car review.